Hello, beautiful dancers. Today we have 4 variations of a shoulder shimmy. So, of course, we are going to make sure that our posture is all in place before you start using the shoulder shimmy. Because what I find is when we do shoulder shimmies, a lot of the time people are actually not in the proper posture first. So, what ends up happening is they are like this and then kind of pushing through like this, and it can feel really uncomfortable very, very quickly. So we want to make sure we are not in that position when we start, so that way you feel like your body is a bit more open and you have a little bit more access to your joints and moving them for belly dancing. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is the posture, right? So as you stand up nice and tall, you will give this nice little breath of air into your chest cavity. And as you exhale, you're just going to allow your chest to kind of stay where it is. So you have, and you're not going to let it like this. So just hold your chest nice and lifted off of the lower half of your body. So you can just allow this beautiful elongation to bring a little bit more light into the shoulder shimmy. Yeah. So the first variation that we have is our OG. It's our beautiful shoulder shimmy, right? It is the first one that everyone should really, really learn, because we can't really do any of the variations cleanly until we have the regular shoulder shimmy in place. So the key things here is to not go forward and back more than you can control. So you see, if I go forward and back and I start to press my hand like this, I've gone too far beyond my technique, and I will get there eventually. But today we want to honor where our body is. So go small, and I'm just going to come up to you just a little bit so you can see. You see how I'm not going very far, like forward and back, forward and back? It doesn't have to be so vigorous, right? You can keep it here, and my goal is to maintain my hands in its position. So my goal is not to do this and then press, right? Like this. We allow the elbow to bend and straighten, allowing that hand to keep in place as the shoulder comes front and back. So as we take really, really tiny movement, then you're going to speed it up. Okay, but I'm not going to make it any larger. I'm just keeping it right here, especially for the vast majority of you who are just beginning. You don't want to be here, because all you're going to do is train your body to not have control over this movement. So posture nice and up, and then we are here. Yeah, so this is good old variation 1. Variation 2. So it may get more complex as we move on, but I promise you're going to get there. Variation 2 is you just using one arm for the shoulder shimmy. A lot of the time we feel like we have to do both, but in reality you can just do one. So you're just going to place your arm wherever you'd like. I commonly place mine here by the hip, and then I go to town on this shoulder. So you're going to start slower, because there's kind of this counterbalance with the other arm isn't there. So it's going to feel just slightly different for some of you. So I'm just going to go slow front and back and still keep that range of motion really tiny. I only want it like an inch of movement. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and boom. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yes. Then switch to the other arm. Exhale, keep that posture nice and up. It's going to matter, because when you allow the chest to be nice and open, it will help place your shoulder where you want it to be before you start moving. That's why I'm emphasizing here without getting into too much detail. Now we're going to have front, back, front, back, front, back, front, back. 1 and 2 and 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 1 and I have to breathe too, you guys. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and switch to the other side. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and switch to the other side. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 4, 3, 2, back to the right, and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And see, I'm still trying to keep my hand calm and in place. We don't want to be pushing just because we have it off to the one side. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 4, 3, 2, 1. Left side. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yes. So we have 2 variations now. You have both of your hands together or both of your arms together as you do this movement, and then you have just the one arm. Now, remember, we're skill building right along as cumulative effect. So we have this, and then we have this, and then we have this. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to allow ourselves to dip our shoulder down and go to the other side. So from an audience perspective, it's going to look like this. Down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up. So from your perspective, it seems like I'm dropping the shoulder when I do that, but in reality, I'm actually not dropping the shoulder, but it gives the illusion that I drop the shoulder like this. But when we drop the shoulder, we'll start to feel asymmetrical in this way. It gives the appearance that we're dropping the shoulder. But what I'm really doing is I'm gently lifting my torso on the other side to give this right here. But my shoulders don't change. So when I'm coming to the other side, when we go over here, and I'll show you from the back in a minute, you're going to lift and then come over. And then lift, and then come over. And it's going to feel like the opposite side is collapsing, but I want us to be mindful of using that terminology, because what will happen is you'll collapse and kind of forego the posture. So we're here, and lift this rib cage as you bend your knee. So it's boom, 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 shoulder shimmy, and switch the weight to the left. Bend and switch. Bend and switch. Bend and switch, bend and switch. And 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. To your right again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So really only movement that you're doing in the shoulder is still that gentle front and back. We're not going to drop this right here. Bum, da, 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 and lift and over and lift and over. It'll help keep your posture, nice and tall. So that way when you dance, you don't feel like you're collapsing, because remember, that's not going to be the best thing for the body. The last variation that we have, you are going to actually make your shoulders asymmetrical. We are going to start with the OG, and then you're going to lift the shoulders. So it's going to feel like a shrug, and the other side will be gently pushing down. So as you get more comfortable with your shoulder shimmy, you're going to learn how to manipulate the body in this way. So what we want to get comfortable with is the shrug motion right here without affecting the hand. So you see how we go like this a lot of the time? If you look to the side and you see your hand move up and down like an elevator, we know we're not there just yet. You want to hold your hand in place, imaginarily holding the end of a chair or the back of a chair, and then lifting and down. And lifting and down. This is possible because your joint allows your arm to extend and bend and shorten without using hair because it's on a joint, right? So you see how I can go forward, my hand isn't moving, and then I pull back because what? This unhinges and then hinges, unhinges and hinges. So we're just making sure that we're holding our hand in place as we're doing all of this movement, so that way it's not lifting everything together. So one last time, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Now, what we're going to have is as you go with when, you're going to allow yourself to bring the other one down. It looks really effed up. I know. You don't stay here for long, by the way, when you're actually doing the movement, because it looks wonky, right? And so in the end, we still want to feel good about the way everything is coming across on our body and the control that we have. So if you don't like the way it looks, don't hang out there long, right? These are pass-through moments of your dance. Boom, boom, boom. Now you're going to take that and you're going to do half the motion. 1, 2, 1, 2. We're only doing this. You can feel like you have to really give a little bit of effort to do it, and then you're going to shrink it down. Boom, 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 boom. Well, we don't want to overly close here And that's where we get wonky, right? So you're going to have lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop. Now we're going to add that shoulder shimmy in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Rakatakatakatakatakata. Lift the left, lift the right. Lift the left, lift the right. And again, lift and 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 lift. So when you do this part, is anyone else's shoulders like done? So when you're doing this movement, it's really important for you to just feel like 1, 2, 3, 4. Real quick, super easy. Don't hang out there long. 1, because you're using a lot of this muscle. And 2, it really is this is totally subjective in my opinion. You can do it as long as you want. Really, in the end, it is your call. But I just feel like if you're doing this for too long, it could start to look chaotic and not in control. Do you see what I mean? Especially if you're not controlling everything else that's happening. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Hold your posture. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now let's put them all together, our 4 variations of shoulder shimmy. Variation 1, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Variation 2, left arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Variation 2, right arm. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the dip to your right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more each side. 3, 4. Keep the posture up and with the shrug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it doesn't have to be big. It could look chaotic real quickly. So you just want to be mindful of where is your technique at, and then dancing right at that level, and then challenging yourself when you practice to start leveling up and playing with the different. There's also like this, I guess there's 5 variations. You could also rotate it back and all of that good stuff. All right, well done. Keep it slow, stack it, so that way you can build like that dexterity and versatility with your shoulder first, and then go to the next variation. Great for drum solos, great for moments in Oriental music. Learn how to really start apply with the musicality, and if you need help with that, that's when you definitely want to try out my free live beginning belly dance class. It's a free live streaming class that happens on Mondays at 6 p.m. Arizona time. Don't look up Mountain Standard Time because we're not always in line with that. We don't change for daylight savings. So make sure if you're interested in signing up for a free live class with me, check out the description below. I would love to have you. And if the time zone doesn't work, I have a free recording that you can definitely check out. I hope to see you soon. Have fun dancing, everybody.